Hello YouTube world, it's Jordan Ray here. Another Google App Scripting video. Today I'm going to be using Google App Script to send a message. I've got this contact form that I've been working on for a while, and I want to use one of the mail apps to actually send a message. I've got two options here, GmailApp and MailApp, and let's talk about what that difference is. The first thing I'm going to do is create a function here, and we'll call this function append row. And I'm going to just take the code from here, put it right in there, and we're going to go ahead and call it right here. So after we append that row, this is where we actually have to send a message. And finally, we won't get to this today, but I'll just create a to-do and we'll call it subscribe to mailing list. So all of these actions will take place in this try block. So we need to send a message. Let's call the function send message and we'll pass into it. Okay, we've got two options here. We've got MailApp and we've got GmailApp. Let's look at what those are. MailApp, it gives us just one option. We can send email. So with GmailApp, we can access a number of different methods, from creating drafts to creating labels, deleting labels. Basically anything you can do inside of Gmail, you have access to here. Now, why are there two different ones? And the reason for that is scoping. You know, all of those permissions that you have to authorize when you deploy your application, if you're going to be exposing this to other users, you don't want to authorize all of these all of these methods to other users. You want to authenticate just for yourself, not for everybody. And with MailApp, you can do that. You can still send a message without giving anyone else access, or without authenticating for a ton of other users. In this case, what I want to do though is I would like to, when somebody fills out my contact form, I would like to send them a message just saying thanks, and I will be in touch. And we can do that without accessing GmailApp. So I'm going to just call MailApp, and we're going to send an email, and I'm going to actually, let's grab this one because we need to send options. Options is going to actually end up being an object, and in this object we can actually say from. Our recipient is going to be form.email. Our subject line, thanks, and the body, we can actually type in HTML body, and just like that, we should have a very basic mail app, though we will expand on that. And before we can test it, we actually have to authenticate again, and here is where you see these new permissions. This send email as you is the only access that you have to give to your app. Sent the email, sure enough, here it is. Well, what else can we do with this? Well, instead of just having this very basic HTML, we can actually create an HTML file. We'll call it response. And let's actually write some HTML code. Okay, really basic template here, but I'm using full name and message. There's no styles, nothing like that. Styling actually becomes a little bit of a tricky subject in emails because of so many different email programs, but we won't worry about that in this video. So what do we have to do to get that to work? Let's come into our send message function. I'm going to actually create some space here. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay, let's get some HTML equals HTML service dot create HTML output from file. We want to actually create template from files since we're using some templated variables. And let's call this response. And then we need to actually pass those variables to our template. So we'll call html.fullname equals form.fullname and html.message equals form.message. Simple enough. Let's come down to our HTML body, and we're going to take that HTML and we need to actually evaluate. What this does is it takes these variables that we're sending to our HTML and it puts them into the right place using the templating language right here. And it did not mean to do that. Resave that. Okay. So then we want to evaluate, but then we need to turn it into a string, and we can do that with get content. You can see here it returns a string, and I think that should be enough to test this out. And there we go. I sent it to a different email address this time. I've got my name in there, and then I've got this as a test message. So I'm going to keep playing around with the format a little bit, but that gives you an idea as to make use of the MailApp instead of using the Gmail app. So anyways, I will talk to you next time with another Google App Scripting video.